Hey guys, welcome back to the channel for a brand new series. It's Tier 10 to the top. Yep, it's finally here. We're going to be managing Prestwich Heys all the way down in level 10 of English football, which means we've got to get 4 promotions just to reach the Conference North and a further 5 to get to the Premier League. Of course, that's not where the goals end. We want to win the Champions League and we want to implement a youth to gold system of some sort. But this save has so many layers. Prestwich is on the outskirts of Manchester, so we've also got the noisy neighbours, Manchester United and Manchester City, to compete with, try and dethrone them both. Before we jump into the episode itself, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button. That way you get to see every episode as and when it goes live. Right, let's see what this trailer's all about, shall we? Right boys, welcome to day 1 of what is hopefully going to be a very long journey, but a fruitful one at that. Prestwich Heys are the team. We're half-star reputation, established in 1938, and we are in the 10th tier of English football. We've only got one player that's real from the squad within this team. That's Russell Saunders, who is a goalkeeper. He's actually been tweeting us on Twitter, so that's quite cool. And if you have a look at the general information, we're semi-professional in the English North West Counties Division 1 North. That's not a mouthful at all. Predicted 8th, media prediction that. The chairman loves the club, and the average ticket price is £2.92. So if you want a cheap game, you know where to go. Average season ticket price, 35 quid, so probably the price of a Championship or League One match right there. Of course, you're all here because we want to see what players we're working with on day 1 before I completely overhaul the squad. If you ignore Adam Dennison, he's a left back I just brought in on trial and managed to get a contract agreed with, so he's going to be a great little signing. Russell Saunders is the only real player in the squad and the only real player of value, to be honest. Hopefully some of the Prestwich Town players are actually watching the series, and if you are, big shout out to Russell. But the rest of the team are all new gens and pretty useless. Suksomkit's the nearest thing to a first teamer, but with the players I've got in mind to come in, he's going to be shipped out probably or just left on the bench. You may be looking at Muirhead thinking, what's he like? Well, not suitable for what I want to do at all. He's really slow, and that is pretty much the theme throughout. All 1-star, half-star players. Looking through the youth teams, again, there's nothing really to work with. The squad turnover is going to be so quick for the first couple of seasons. We won't be looking at very young players, I don't think, just yet. Finances, we've got £1.5 million in the bank, so it's not too bad, but we are going to have to build on that because it is under COVID rules, and we all know that finances are a struggle in that first season, and these are the friendlies I've arranged for the start of the season. So let's fast forward. I'm going to spend a hell of a lot of time scouting and signing players, but in your time, I will see you in just a second. Well, that took a hell of a lot longer than I thought it was going to, guys. A full 24 hours just to assemble this squad. We had loads of troubleshooting problems. Players didn't want to move. I managed to get some on offers and then got snatched at the last minute. And quite a few players as well just weren't happy with that £20 appearance fee. That's all I can offer them. But I've got a little tip coming up for you all in a second as to how you can get around that and how you can get some players that initially are reluctant to accept a lower value contract. But let's look at some players first of all. So we've got Lee McKevitz. He's a 3-star player, really fast, good determination, and he's got good all-round technical ability, very important for the right back role. Adam Dennison you've already seen, but very similar type of player. Those two are going to be very important. Owen is a cracking centre-back. He's tall, he can jump, he can mark, and he's reasonably fast as well. So cracking little signing at 18 years old. Likewise, Norris is only a year his senior. He's a very similar type of player as well. Going on to Devante Bannon, he is actually a new gen at the age of 26, a little bit of a weird one, but what I love about him is his mentals. Brave, aggressive, determined, works as a team. He's good at marking, good at tackling. He's just ideal for the ball-winning midfield role that I need in the middle of the park. Cameron Healy is one of those players I was referring to that initially we couldn't get over the line, but then I managed to bring them in on trial, and then I made my contract offer, and the difference between their wage demands was massive. So I highly recommend you do that. Get the player on trial first, then make your approach. Don't do it beforehand, otherwise obviously they won't be interested in going into contract negotiations again. This kid's going to be a cracker. 7 dribbling, really good first touch technique, tackling, passing, vision, work rate. The list goes on, and he's got good leadership, good determination. You can't undervalue how important that's going to be. And at 21, he's not a bad player at all at this level. 11 acceleration, 11 pace. He can get about the pitch. He's going to be ideal. Now, jumping off the first team, I want to quickly show you someone called Derek Tivy. Really like this kid. Again, mentals, but look at that long shot ability. He's got a really good touch, very good technique as well. And I think this kid could be fantastic in the advanced playmaker role. He's only 20 years old, got good potential. So it'll be very interesting to see how he develops as the save goes on. But he is on a non-contract like all the players. He's going to be up for players snatching him, and that'll most likely happen at some point. We're going to have to come to terms with it. James Carlew on the right, he's one of our best players by far. Lightning quick, crap stamina unfortunately. We'll have to work around that, but he can really dribble a ball, and he's got a little bit of flair about him as well. Paul Cliff is a similar type of player, just not at the same level, and he's 30 years old, so he's starting to get on now. Robbie Dunn is one of our better strikers, really good finishing, very fast for this level, but he has got some weaknesses. He's got terrible stamina, not the best touch, really bad technique, and that anticipation, I'm not a fan of that, but we had to get what we could get. Ryan Harkin, I'm quite excited about him. Good anticipation, he's got really good flair, good off the ball movement, and he's quick. That dribbling, if that was up to say 8 or 9, he'd be an exceptional player at this level, and probably I won't be able to get hold of him. I also like to look for players with aggression as well in the lower leagues. I find it seems to help. They always seem to play better, so a little tip for you there. Aggression is an undervalued attribute at this level. Ned Dry's one of our backup strikers. He's really quick, determined, skillful, a bit of a leader within the team. He's got good agility as well, so he should be able to do a job taking on his man with decent technique. Ellis Williamson, I think this guy could be very much undervalued by my coaches. They're saying he's 3-star. I think he's a bit better than that. He's very similar to Harkin. Brett Callow on the left side is backup, but he should be a good player for this level. Kirongozi, cracking little name. He plays on the right wing, but he's not going to get in ahead of Callew just yet. And then the list goes on. We've got loads of players. I just want to show you Connor Dyche as well. I don't think it's Sean Dyche's son. He's only 16 years old, and he's my backup goalkeeper, so he might be getting a bit of game time, and I fully expect to lose Russell Saunders. Yes, the Vultures are already circling. We've got Ossett, North Shields, Penrith all looking at him. Onto the centre-back roles as backup, we've got Daniel Ridge, who's terrible with his heading, but he's got a couple of decent attributes in there. And Mutawe, he should be reasonable, a good backup. On the right, we've got Charles Worth, really good all-round player. He could even go into centre-back if need be, if we have any issues there. And then Kieran Connolly is a backup at central midfield. That's pretty much the side, to be fair. The only one I missed out is Graham Kindlen. Again, another new gen at the age of 25, a weird one that, but he's got really good passing, he's got good teamwork, leadership, bravery, aggression. You're going to hear these words a lot. Those mentals can really make the difference in a save. And the last one is Aiken Sams on the left wing. He's fast and he's going to come off the bench and hopefully wreak havoc. Let's have a really quick look at the tactic I'm going to be using. This is Concerto 2.0, but a lower league version. So what I've done is I've taken the shorter passing off and I've put it to more direct. I've also changed all the instructions in the individual players' instructions, taking the shorter passing off there as well. And I've just tried to simplify the whole tactic so that we can basically hit those balls over the top and try and get in behind, front to back as quick as we can, but also pressing. That means the roles had to change. So we're now using pressing forwards, simple wingers rather than an inverted winger on the right hand side. Rather than using a wing back, which is a little bit too aggressive for me, I think we're going to go with a full back on the left and a ball winning midfielder rather than a box to box midfielder, so we can show things up in the middle and try and get back possession. I just feel like all those roles come together for a good pressing tactic. at this level that simplifies the game. That is the plan. On a side note, guys, I want this series to be as helpful as possible for everybody, so we're going to include little tips and tutorials throughout each episode as and when I think of them, just to give you an indication of what I do in my save that might help you guys with yours. Semi-professional is a real tough one because obviously the scouting's a bit difficult, but the training's hard as well. You're semi-pro, you haven't got as many days on the pitch, and money is very hard to come by. So what I generally do, obviously pre-season is pre-season, you're going to schedule friendlies anyway. I do 2 a week during pre-season. It helps me rotate 2 squads so I can get the match sharpness and match fitness up, while also making a little bit of money. But I then continue that into the season. If I've only got 1 game midweek, I will schedule a friendly, generally speaking, to make some money. It also gets the players on the pitch, it helps them develop, it helps them get match tactic familiarity and cohesion, but it does also help make money. It's so important, especially under the current COVID rules that are going on in game that SI have put in for the first season. You are going to leak money much faster than in any other season, so it's vital that you get some money from somewhere, and friendlies are a good way of doing that. You can generally get about 500 quid with a 5,000 all-standing stadium in a friendly, or at least that's what I found anyway with the ones I've been playing. As for how I work my training around that, basically it's really simple but effective. I don't really do any proper outfield training. I do every now and again, maybe every other week, I'll throw in an outfield session or a physical session, but that's generally more to appease players than through need. As you can see here, I've got attacking movement and defensive shape going on this week. The reason for that is because if you have a look, attacking movement, let's read out what it actually does. Attributes. It trains individual roles. So as long as you're setting your players under their training to train in an individual role, they're going to be golden. It also works the upcoming match for attacking movement and passing. Now, what's the most important thing in lower league football? Developing your players or getting promoted. At the end of the day, it's going up. So targeting that next match is so important. Not to mention the tactical familiarity you get from those is really high as well. The other thing to think about is match practice when you don't want to schedule a friendly. Not that I'd understand why you wouldn't, because you get money from it. That also trains individual roles, tactical familiarity, team cohesion, all the things that you need like that. So that's pretty much my approach. I'll throw in team bonding so I can really hone in on the team cohesion, because that is such a vital part of the game as well. But other than players moaning, I won't really change things up very much from that, not until we turn full time. Now, the team dynamics page, which I'm trying to find, is very important to check as well, guys. So when you're in pre-season, keep checking back under team cohesion. I've thrown a whole new squad together who, yes, they're performing very well and they seem to love their manager, which is great, but they're not very high on team cohesion because they've not been here for very long. That will rocket up as we start doing better and as they have more time to bond. But the way of getting team cohesion up, apart from time, is through those match preparations, the attacking movement, the defensive shape, your tactical training, and through bonding sessions as well. So definitely something to think about. Right, boys, we have a game to play. It's the first game of the season. We're away from home to, who's that? Nelson. No idea who they are, no idea if they're any good, but we're about to find out. One thing's for sure, it is definitely going to be the hardest match that we've had to date, because all the friendlies have been at home against much easier opposition, so I don't have to pay them a big appearance fee. Another one to think about, guys, when you're arranging your friendlies, make sure that you're not forking out a massive sum of money to them to come to your stadium. Always check that. Right, boys, that's going to be the starting 11. So we've got McKevitt, Owen, Norris, Dennison at the back, Bannon, Healy, Carlu, Cliff in midfield with Dunn and Ryan Harkin, my hero, up top. I won't go through the bench. You don't know any of the players yet. I really hope you're going to grow to become attached to them. And of course, Russell Saunders, the legend, hopefully, of the series, the only real Prestwich Heys player, has to start. Right, let's kick things off and come on, you Heys. Right then, here we are. It's the team talk, chaps. So I'm going to go out there and impress me. There's quite a few players that are lacking a little bit in match sharpness. That's something we're going to have to address at some point as the season goes along. Right, first game of the season. Dunn's in behind, and it's a great save from the keeper. We've got a corner. Now, I've got a little short routine, even though we're playing quite direct built in here. So let's see if they go for it. Yep. Carlu to McKevitt, to Healy. Great cross. And Harkin headers over with that shocking jumping reach. Cliff picks up possession. Good pass. Dunn's in behind, and he somehow doesn't stick the ball away. I don't quite understand how he manages to miss that. I guess that's lower league football for you. It's the sort of strikers we're dealing with. The free kick on the edge of the area. Healy's hanging over it, and he scores. Cameron Healy scores on his professional debut for us. Top corner. That is a cracking strike. Let's see that one again. Pick that one out, lad. Lovely little goal there. 11 minutes in, and we are winning away from home. We've got a long throw, so we could make it even better. That's got to be a penalty. Surely. It is. Dunn won the penalty. Dunn is taking the penalty. I've been really impressed with him so far. He's been all over the place. And he picks out the top corner. Robbie Dunn, first professional goal for Prestwich Heys. I'm not going to say that every time, guys, I promise you. That is a really good start to the season for us. While we're watching these highlights, guys, jump down in the comments and let me know what your opinion is on the length of the episodes. What do you want to see? Do you want to see longer episodes? Maybe ones stretching over 20 minutes? Or do you want something shorter and a little bit snappier? Maybe in the high teens? What's going on? Jackson misses. Thank God for that. That was terrible defending there. I don't know how we let him go. But yeah, do you want to see something shorter, maybe below 20 minutes? Obviously, I don't want it to be too short every episode, but I'm just wary that last year with my Scarborough save, I fell into the trap of trying to appease newbies and people that don't generally watch every single episode, and I probably got to the point where they were too short and not as enjoyable. So let me know what you think in the comments. That'd be much appreciated. As I blabber on, Healy picks out a wonderful pass to Kalu, and Kalu was terrible. That was awful. We've had a ton of highlights already, and I'm on key highlights as well. So we've got 2 goals though, so I guess we're doing it reasonably well. Healy's been fantastic so far. Dunn's been impressive, and Carlu's offside. He's been a danger man, but he's just not got that end product, has he? He's not been able to finish, and he's not picked out the passes when he should have done. But we've had a 2.25 XG rating, and we are 2-0 up, so that's not too bad in fairness. 10 shots, 6 on target, and 63% possession, despite playing long ball football. You can't complain at that. Although, in fairness, Nelson are playing so defensive, it's unbelievable. They've got that DMC, the 3 at the back and the wing backs, so there's probably no wonder we're dominating, in fairness. Bannon, out wide to Healy. Healy's got the quality. Can he get a cross in? Yes, he can, but it's cleared by Melling. Norris, the centre-back, to Dennison. Out wide to Owen, to Cliff. Cliff finds Harkin very nicely in behind. To Cliff, and Kalu scores. That is actually a really nicely worked team goal there. But let's watch this one again. So Owen to Cliff. Cliff cuts it into Harkin, who has the patience and the whereabouts to pick out Cliff again for Kalu. Healy with the corner, goes short to Kalu again. Kalu crosses to Owen, and well, there's not a lot you can say about that, is there? I know he's a centre-back. I know we can't finish for Toffee, but when you're 2 yards out, you kind of got to do better than that. And Dunn's last act of his game is to score his second and our fourth. He's picked up a little knock. When we're this far ahead, there's no point in risking him. So we'll get Williamson on. I'm not sure what that injury is going to be for Dunn. He's played exceptionally well. So fingers crossed he won't be out for too long. Blue brings the ball forward from the right wing. And there's your typical lower league defending. Jackson's in behind. And he tucks it away. Awful defending there. Absolutely terrible. I'm not quite sure who was meant to be picking up Jackson. Look at that. That's freaking terrible. Who's that? Owen. Absolutely shocking. Right, guys, we've got half an hour left in the game. 4-1 up. To be honest, this one's definitely wrapped up regardless of what happens. But let's just make a couple of quick changes. Let's see who is tired. We'll bring Healy off. And I'll probably get on TV because he's not really had a game, so he's got no match sharpness. It's quite important to get that up. And I also want to bring Kalu off because I don't want him too fatigued. And I'm also quite intrigued to see what Kirongozi can do. I'm still not decided over which one of those two is definitely the best player. Nelson with one last final attack. But they give the ball away to Tivy off the bench. To Williamson, who finds Harkin. He's got the speed, but he can't finish. Ryan Harkin has not had the greatest game. He's been decent, but he's definitely not finished. And he hasn't been able to create his own opportunities, unfortunately. But we won the game 4-1. Fantastic performance from a couple of the lads there. Like we've mentioned a couple of times now, Dunn was amazing, Kalu was good, and Healy was exceptional from central midfield. Lower Breck have had a 5-goal swing in their game, and thankfully, Robbie Dunn is only out for 2 to 3 days. He's only got a bruised foot, so I'm very relieved about that. One last tip, guys, before we round this episode off. Make sure you get yourselves a physio, whatever you do. The players will take much longer to recover from longer-term injuries if you don't get one, so just get that sorted as soon as you can. So, second in the table after one game. I'm not quite sure when we're going to come back for the next episode. If you have a look at the schedule, I've got quite a few friendlies coming up there, so we'll skip all of that rubbish. Maybe come back somewhere around November, possibly. Maybe even October, with probably a double header, I would imagine. Jump down in the comments, chappies. Let me know what you think to it. Is there anything you'd like me to change? The length of the episode, what we talk about, that sort of stuff. And give us a thumbs up if you enjoy this. It massively helps the channel. I keep on saying it. And massive shout out again to the guys at Prestwich Heys. Thank you so much, guys, for getting involved. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, chaps, and click the bell button to get notified when the new episodes go live. I won't want you missing out. And of course, there are going to be tutorials and guides coming out. I'm going to be making those, helping you guys understand exactly what I do in the game to get the sort of results that I do. Right, that's more than enough talk. Let's move on to the next episode in hopefully half a week's time, I reckon. The next one might be out on Saturday, possibly. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all later. Take care.